What if I told you that one mindset, practiced by a Roman emperor nearly 2,000 years ago, could completely change the way you handle stress, failure, criticism, and life's biggest challenges? In the next few minutes, you'll discover the powerful lessons that made Marcus Aurelius one of history's greatest minds. Stay until the end, because the final lesson may completely change how you see your own life. And if you're new to our channel, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who could benefit from timeless Stoic wisdom. Now, let's begin. Have you ever wondered why some people remain calm, even when everything around them is falling apart, while others collapse under the smallest inconvenience? They lose sleep over criticism. They panic when plans change. They spend years chasing approval from people they'll never impress. But every once in a while, you meet someone different, someone who walks through chaos without becoming chaotic, someone who remains kind even when the world is cruel, someone who seems impossible to shake. What do they know that most people don't? Nearly 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor quietly wrote the answer in a personal journal, not for fame, not for followers, not for history. He wrote those words to remind himself how to remain strong in a world he could never fully control. That emperor was Marcus Aurelius. Today, millions of people still read those same reflections because the problems he faced are the same problems we face today: stress, anxiety, disappointment, loss, uncertainty, and the endless search for peace. The world has changed. Human nature hasn't. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that every problem in your life has disappeared. No stress, no difficult people, no uncertainty, no fear. Sounds perfect. But here's the question. Would you actually become stronger? Probably not. Because strength is never created by comfort. It is revealed by challenge. Marcus Aurelius understood something that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. Life is not meant to be easy. It is meant to shape you. Think about a blacksmith forging a sword. The steel is heated until it glows, then struck again and again and again. From the outside, it looks brutal, but every strike makes the blade stronger. Now imagine if the steel could speak. It might ask, "Why is this happening to me?" It wouldn't realize the hammer was never trying to destroy it. It was preparing it. Perhaps life has been doing the same to you. Maybe the challenges you've been trying to escape have been preparing you for a version of yourself you've never met before. Marcus Aurelius faced responsibilities that would overwhelm almost anyone. He ruled an empire, led armies through war, faced deadly disease, lost children, endured betrayal, and carried the weight of millions of lives on his shoulders. Yet despite all of that, he never allowed circumstances to decide the person he would become. Instead, he asked himself a different question every day. What kind of person will I choose to be today? Notice the difference. Most people begin the day asking, what will happen today? Marcus Aurelius asked, who will I be today? One question creates anxiety. The other creates purpose. Imagine two people caught in the same storm. The first spends the entire time complaining about the rain. The second quietly opens an umbrella and keeps walking. The storm is identical. The mindset is completely different. That is the power of Stoicism. It doesn't promise perfect circumstances. It teaches you how to remain steady when circumstances are anything but perfect. One of Marcus Aurelius's greatest realizations was this: you cannot always control what happens to you, but you always control the person you become because of it. Think about how much energy we waste trying to change things outside ourselves. We want people to understand us. We want life to be fair. We want success to come quickly. We want the future to feel certain. Meanwhile, the one thing we truly possess, our own character, is often forgotten. Marcus believed your character is your greatest achievement, not your wealth, not your reputation, not your status, because all of those things can disappear overnight. Character cannot. Imagine owning the most expensive house in the world, but living inside it with constant anxiety. Would that be success? Now imagine living in a small apartment, but waking up every morning with peace, purpose, and self-respect. Which life is richer? Marcus Aurelius knew the answer. Real wealth begins within. The modern world constantly tells us get more money, more followers, more recognition, more possessions. Marcus Aurelius quietly whispered something completely different. Become more patient, more disciplined, more honest, more courageous, because the person you become will always matter more than the things you own. There is one sentence that can completely transform the way you see life. It is simple, yet incredibly difficult to live. Your mind is your greatest kingdom. If you lose control of it, nothing outside you will ever bring lasting peace. But if you learn to govern your own thoughts, very little outside you can take your peace away. Imagine a king who rules a vast empire but cannot control his own anger. Is he truly powerful? Now imagine someone with very little, yet complete mastery over their emotions. Who is richer? Marcus Aurelius would say, the second person, because the greatest victory is never over other people. It is over yourself, and perhaps that is the mindset that has inspired millions for nearly 2,000 years. Not the mindset of an emperor, but the mindset of a human being who chose wisdom over worry, character over comfort, and inner peace over outer success. Every morning, before the world demanded anything from him, Marcus Aurelius prepared his mind, not his schedule, not his appearance, his mind. Think about how most people begin their day. The alarm rings, the phone is already in their hand, messages, news, emails, social media. Within minutes, their peace belongs to everyone except themselves. Marcus Aurelius chose a different beginning. Before facing the world, he reminded himself of one simple truth. Today, I will meet difficult people, people who are selfish, people who complain, people who misunderstand me, people who judge me. That sounds negative, but it wasn't. It was wisdom. Because disappointment often begins with unrealistic expectations. Imagine walking into a boxing ring and becoming angry because someone threw a punch. You knew exactly where you were going. Life is much the same. People will disappoint you. Plans will change. Mistakes will happen. Not because life is against you, but because that's the nature of being human. The moment you stop expecting perfection, you stop being shocked every time life behaves like life. That single shift creates extraordinary peace. One of the greatest traps of the modern world is comparison. Every day, people compare their lives to strangers on the internet, someone else's success, someone else's relationship, someone else's wealth, and quietly, they begin believing they're falling behind. Marcus Aurelius would have asked one simple question: who are you competing against? Because the only person worth comparing yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Think about climbing a mountain. If you spend the entire journey watching other climbers, you'll miss your own path. Some will move faster, some slower, some will choose different routes. But none of that changes where your own feet need to go. Life isn't a race against other people. It's a conversation between who you are today and who you're capable of becoming. Marcus Aurelius never tried to impress history. He tried to improve himself. Every day, a little more patience, a little more discipline, a little more wisdom. Because greatness isn't created by one extraordinary decision. It's built through ordinary decisions, repeated consistently. Imagine a sculptor standing before a massive block of marble. He doesn't create the masterpiece in one afternoon. Every strike removes something unnecessary. Day after day, the shape becomes clearer. Your character is carved the same way. Every time you choose honesty over convenience, you become stronger. Every time you choose patience over anger, you become wiser. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you become someone your future self will thank. Marcus Aurelius understood that character isn't built during easy moments. It's revealed during difficult ones. Anyone can remain calm when life is perfect. Anyone can be kind when everyone agrees with them. Anyone can feel confident when everything is going well. But what happens when life says no? When someone criticizes you? When your plans collapse? When success takes longer than expected? That is where your true character appears. Not in comfort, but in adversity. Another lesson Marcus Aurelius practiced every day was silence. Not because he had nothing to say, but because he understood that not every opinion deserves a response. Think about how much energy people waste arguing, trying to prove they're right, trying to win debates, trying to change minds that have already been made. But ask yourself honestly, how many arguments have truly changed someone's heart? Very few. Marcus believed your energy is far too valuable to spend on battles that produce no wisdom. Imagine carrying a bucket of clean water through a crowded street. Every unnecessary argument is like spilling a little more of that water. Eventually, there's nothing left. Protect your peace the way you would protect something priceless, because it is. One of the most misunderstood ideas in Stoicism is emotional strength. Many people think Marcus Aurelius never felt fear, never experienced sadness, never struggled. That isn't true. He felt all of those things. The difference was, he refused to let those emotions become his master. Imagine sitting in the driver's seat of a car. Fear is sitting beside you. Doubt is sitting in the back. Anger knocks on the window. They are all passengers, but none of them are allowed to hold the steering wheel. That is emotional mastery. You don't eliminate difficult emotions. You simply stop allowing them to decide your direction. Marcus Aurelius also understood something our modern culture often forgets. Attention is one of your greatest possessions. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Spend every day focused on problems. Your world becomes smaller. Spend every day focused on growth. Your life expands. Spend every day chasing approval. You'll never feel enough. Spend every day building character. You'll never need approval to know your worth. Think about a gardener. He doesn't spend every morning pulling weeds from someone else's garden. He cares for his own, watering, pruning, protecting, growing. Your mind deserves the same attention. Stop feeding resentment. Stop watering regret. Stop giving your attention to fears that haven't happened. Instead, nourish discipline, gratitude, patience, wisdom. Those are the seeds that eventually become a peaceful life. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson Marcus Aurelius left behind. Your circumstances may not change overnight. The people around you may remain exactly the same. The world may continue to be unpredictable. But if you change the way you think, you change the way you experience everything. That is where real transformation begins. Not outside you, within you. There is one final lesson from Marcus Aurelius that has survived for nearly 2,000 years. It wasn't written for soldiers. It wasn't written for politicians. It wasn't even written for the public. It was written for one person, himself. Every night, after leading an empire, making impossible decisions, facing criticism, and carrying responsibilities that most of us can barely imagine, Marcus Aurelius opened his journal, not to complain, not to blame, not to seek sympathy, but to ask himself one simple question: did I live according to my values today? Think about how different your life would become if you ended every day with that question. Not, did everyone like me? Not, did everything go according to plan? Not, did I make more money today? But did I become a better person today? Because that was the standard Marcus Aurelius lived by. And perhaps it should become ours too. Most people measure success by what they collect: more money, more followers, more recognition, more possessions. Marcus Aurelius measured success differently. He measured it by what he refused to lose: his honesty, his discipline, his courage, his patience, his integrity. Because he understood something extraordinary. Everything outside you can disappear. Your character doesn't have to. Imagine two people lose everything they own overnight. One falls into despair. The other quietly begins rebuilding. What made the difference? Not money, not luck, mindset. Because no one can steal the habits you've built. No one can take away the wisdom you've earned. No one can remove the strength you develop through hardship. Those become part of who you are. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that life is incredibly short, not to make himself afraid, but to help himself focus. Think about how many hours people spend worrying about things that won't matter 5 years from now. A rude comment, an embarrassing mistake, someone else's opinion, a plan that didn't work out. Meanwhile, life quietly keeps moving. The clock never pauses. Every day that passes is one day you'll never receive again. So ask yourself honestly, what deserves your attention today? The fear that's holding you back? Or the opportunity standing right in front of you? Marcus would tell you that your attention is one of your greatest treasures. Spend it wisely. One of the most powerful ideas in meditations is that obstacles are not interruptions to your life. They are your life. Every challenge teaches patience. Every setback teaches resilience. Every disappointment teaches perspective. Imagine climbing a mountain. You don't become stronger because the path is smooth. You become stronger because the climb demands more from you. Without resistance, there is no growth. without difficulty, there is no courage. Without uncertainty, there is no wisdom. The obstacle is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Perhaps the hardest lesson Marcus Aurelius ever accepted was that he couldn't control how long he would live, but he realized something even more important. While we cannot always choose how much time we have, we can always choose how we spend it. Imagine reaching the end of your life. Looking back, would you remember every stressful email, every unnecessary argument, every moment spent worrying about what strangers thought of you? Probably not. You'll remember the people you loved, the courage you showed, the kindness you gave, the moments you were fully alive. Marcus Aurelius wanted us to live with that awareness now, not later. There is another truth hidden inside his philosophy. You don't become mentally strong by reading wise words. You become mentally strong by living them. Knowledge changes nothing until action follows it. Imagine owning a library filled with books about swimming. Would you become a swimmer? Of course not. Eventually, you have to step into the water. Stoicism works the same way. Reading about courage isn't enough. Practice it. Reading about patience isn't enough. Live it. Reading about discipline isn't enough. Choose it again and again until it becomes part of who you are. That is how Marcus Aurelius transformed philosophy into a way of life, not through perfection, but through daily practice, small choices, repeated consistently. That is how character is built. Not in one dramatic moment, but in thousands of ordinary ones. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. Life will still have challenges. Some people will still misunderstand you. Unexpected problems will still appear. But something inside you will be different. You won't react to every inconvenience. You won't seek approval from everyone you meet. You won't waste precious energy trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, you'll pause, you'll breathe, you'll ask yourself, what is the wise response? And little by little, that question will begin changing every area of your life. Your relationships, your work, your confidence, your peace. Not because the world became easier, but because your mind became stronger. That is the Marcus Aurelius mindset. A mindset that refuses to be controlled by fear. A mindset that chooses character over comfort, wisdom over ego, purpose over distraction, and inner peace over endless approval. So before you leave today, carry this one lesson with you. Every morning, you are given two choices. You can allow the world to decide how you feel, or you can decide the kind of person you will be. No matter what the world brings, one path leads to constant frustration, the other leads to freedom, because the greatest achievement Marcus Aurelius ever accomplished wasn't ruling Rome, it was ruling himself. And perhaps that is the greatest achievement any of us can hope to attain. So when life becomes difficult, when people disappoint you, when fear whispers that you are not enough, remember these words. You may not control the world around you, but you will always have the power to govern the world within you. Master that one kingdom, and nothing outside of it will ever have the power to truly defeat you. That is the Marcus Aurelius mindset, and it has the power to change your life forever.